All right, guys, so I'm going to talk a little bit today about gaming Ultrabooks. I have this knowledge because I am in the market to hopefully buy one. I've got a video editing laptop. That's what I use to edit all my videos for Gizmo, Slip, Quadron TV. But I would like something that can still go with me to the office. I do some consulting work and can potentially game with me without having to take my big desktop laptop-y big thing. So I have a Yoga 13 right now. Doesn't do games. Not really, hardly at all. I would say there's three major kind of divisions of Ultrabooks. You've got the Intel HD 4000, which was in all the Ultrabooks previously from about 6 months ago and earlier. And then you've got the NVIDIA graphics cards that are in a few of them. And you've got the new Intel HD graphics, the 4400 all the way up to the 5100. Now, the 4400 is in the Yoga 2 Pro and a lot of the other ones like the Samsung ATIV 9. All of those notebooks, Acer S7, those notebooks are going to have the Intel HD 4400. Now that GPU can kind of game. It can like get 35 frames per second on like 720p resolutions on a lot of older to medium new, like all the new titles that are like really easy on your computer, for example, like Dishonored. That's a very easy title to run. It could probably run Dishonored fairly well. But if you go to anything like Battlefield 4, Call of Duty Ghosts, those games are not going to run very well on an Intel HD 4400. You'd have to bring them down to really low resolutions with like maximum low settings to maybe get something playable out of them, but probably still wouldn't even hardly be playable. Even at, that's no fun in my opinion, playing at that really crappy resolution with like no graphic settings. So that being said, the Intel HD 4600 up to the 5100, like those are the kind of gaming integrated cards that Intel has been coming out with. The Iris and the Iris Pro, the 5000 and the 5100, both of those can game actually quite well. You're going to be able to max all of the older games and then probably get medium settings at 720p or low settings at 1080p on most of the newer games, including like Crysis 3, or Crysis 2, not Crysis 3. Crysis 3 doesn't even exist. Battlefield 4 will probably play at 720p on low to medium settings. Call of Duty will play about the same, maybe high settings on 720p or low settings 1080p with the Iris and Iris Pro. So quite a good alternative to an NVIDIA graphics card. Which Ultrabooks are those? The Asus UX301LG is going to have the Iris Pro in it, which is just fantastic. It has a 2560 by 1440 display, so that is a laptop worth considering, and that laptop has just reached the market. I will have a link to that laptop in the video description below. You can buy it over on Amazon.com as well as other stores. I think it will be available in Best Buy. Now, the sister laptop to the UX301 is the UX302LG. Now, that one's going to have the 730 or 735M NVIDIA, one of those two graphics cards in that laptop, and it's going to have a 1080p display. Probably isn't going to have the same SSDs in it as the UX301. Now, don't get the UX302LG because that just has the Intel HD 4400. The kind of, I feel like, suckering people almost into buying that. I also hear there's construction issues with the UX302LG. It's kind of more crappily built than the UX301 or UX302 LG. So although that's a lot of numbers, but for those of you who are actually really interested in this, you'll probably be following along with me just as well. So that being said, if you're looking for a budget Ultrabook, like in the $1,000 range, which is about as cheap as you're going to get for a budget Ultrabook, there's two main options that I would recommend for you to consider looking into. The UX32VD from Asus last year had the 620M graphics card, which is going to probably give you about the same performance as the Iris Pro. And that laptop can be had for around $1,000 if you search the right places, find it, I don't know, either used in really great condition, for example, on eBay, or if you're buying it brand new, it'll probably cost around $1,200. So that's about the cheapest Ultrabook that'll be able to game well. One other one to consider is the MacBook Air, actually. It does have a Iris graphics card in it built in. I know Apple, it's really annoying. All the the Ultrabooks that Windows are putting out right now actually have the Intel HD 4400, but Apple's like, screw that, we want the Intel HD 5000, which is the Iris version. And I don't know why Windows manufacturers do not go for the 5000 version in their laptops. So it would probably only increase the price by maybe 30 bucks, but it would make it an awesome gaming Ultrabook, but they don't. So if you're also looking for something that maybe you could install Windows on, you might be able to transform the MacBook Air into kind of a Windows Ultrabook. Now, there's definitely some disadvantages to that, but you'll have to look into some boot camp forums if you want to look up for how to do that, and it's really not that hard. I've actually done that on some Apple products in the past, and it works okay. It's just some of the buttons are a little bit screwy, and it's kind of a different format keyboard for a Windows computer. So it kind of works, it kind of doesn't, but it is kind of nice, actually, to consider that the MacBook Air is really competitively priced, and you get the Iris graphics card in it. So that's certainly an option. Now, if you're looking for something that's a little bit thicker, it's kind of more like Razer Blade-esque, this is a really good option to consider. It's the Gigabyte G24F. It's got a 730M graphics card in it. It weighs, I think, only 3.5 pounds, and it's 0.8 inches thick, so it's kind of a thicker Ultrabook, and it's by Gigabyte, but it only costs around $1,000. So that is one to consider if you're like super budget, but you also want something thin and light that you can take to class. Now keep in mind, it does have an aluminum case, but I don't like the styling near as much on this one. It's not gonna be as classy as a MacBook Air or some of the other high-end Ultrabooks with these awesome designs like the UX32VD or the UX301LG. So those are my thoughts on gaming Ultrabooks. If you're looking for that 13-inch gaming Ultrabook that can actually play Crysis or Skyrim or, you know, Call of Duty, Battlefield, that kind of thing, those are your options. I hope you enjoyed this tech video, and I will see you guys later. Brandon Baldwin signing out.
Gizmo Slip.